Would you like the stakes, the goal, and the why up front? Or the trailer? Trailer? I understand. I would too. Here you go. How long have you had these nightmares?
Okay. Warzone. Look at that.
Warzone's downwards, you know, it's on this downhill descent.
No new content.
I'm taking a break.
Flimsy, corny-ass game! Boring!
Cheaters and hackers.
What? What the fuck?
Did that intro wake you up? Because I need to drop a little bit of exposition before I ramp up things again. I spent over 3,000 hours making this 1-hour Call of Duty Warzone meme documentary, and it is by far the dumbest thing I've done in my entire life. And here's that story. So, what was the point of making it? The point's always the same, isn't it? Guns, drugs, and money. Okay, what was the real point? Well, I wanted to see if I could actually pull off and make a funny documentary and a better video for people to watch, instead of putting things on the YouTube assembly line and wasting people's time. I did not want to be another talking head. Ironic, isn't it? So, I've never made a documentary before, and I knew it would take weeks or months. My biggest fear was burning out, failing, or ending up hating this whole process by the end. If I fail, not only do I lose months of my life, it also confirms my biggest fear, that I'm not cut out for this YouTube stuff. But this was something I've been meaning to do for a long time. So I thought to myself, screw it, let's give it a shot. What's the worst thing that can happen? Alright, let's do a little bit of rewind and start at the beginning, at hour 0. Why Warzone? Well, Activision lost billions of dollars and millions of players, and the game pretty much fell off a cliff. And no one has really put together the whole story yet. They had the golden goose, and basically choked it to death with bad decisions since day one. Plus, I love the game. I have over 1,000 hours in it, and even made a couple of short haha videos on it, so I knew the topic. But making a documentary is a completely different thing. Right off the bat, I get this knee-jerk reaction of being way out of my depth and not knowing what to do. How do I even make a documentary? What's the best way to do this? Do I make a hit piece like everybody else? Who's gonna come after me if I accidentally say something wrong? I don't know if you know this, but Activision does not look kindly upon people talking crap about their golden goose. Especially not when that golden goose made them almost $6 billion in 1 year by just selling cosmetic skins. They're gonna send sharks after me. I don't mean lawyers, they are literally gonna send sharks after me. Is YouTube going to have my back? Nope. YouTube hates its creators. Every part of the system is designed to pull my pants down, spank my ass,
Spank their ass!
and throw me under the bus.
This is YouTubia!
And feed me to the wolves. Or sharks in this case. So I wake up from that nightmare drenched in sweat. and I convinced myself none of this. And I convinced myself none of this is going to happen to me, right? Just a bad dream. So there were one or two things I had to figure out. One, what kind of story is this? Is this my personal story, investigative story, where I try to blow the whistle on the whole operation? Right. Or is it just me ranting about how Warzone blew up? 2. Where do I start and what do I cover? You can't really tell the whole story, so you gotta pick the most interesting, relevant, or dumbest part. 3. Is this a hit piece? How biased or factual should I be? I need to balance facts with players' opinions.
Child's game out here, ladies and gentlemen!
I think it's corny.
4. Retention. If you explain too much, people tune out. Just like you're about to. Unless I keep it moving. If you explain too little, people get confused and tune out. Now, 5. The tone. Is this a serious documentary? Or is this a serious documentary? Preview. Do I go with, look how they massacred my boy? Or do I go with, look how they massacred my boy? And 6. The length. How long can I keep people interested before they tune out? Safe to say, I got quite overwhelmed trying to find answers to all of these. Each decision has a ripple effect that can ruin the video down the line. And that's when decision paralysis kicks in, along with anxiety, fear, anger, and a little bit of excitement all at once. I write something down, and then rewrite it 15 different ways, second guessing myself the whole time. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I do a little bit of research, and come to find a guy who's been doing this for way longer than I have. He's a 65-year-old man who specializes in these sorts of things. His name is Harold, and because of his old age, he's only able to upload one video per year.
What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream.
So I watch a couple of his videos and I go, that's right up my alley. I can do that. And I figure out 1. The story is the good old rise and fall, because there's not enough of those around. Starting point is in 2016 with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare release, which is where the true downfall began. 3. There is no such thing as no bias, but I will do my best to keep it fair, because my goal is to keep the viewer as informed as possible. 5. Tone. This is comedic in nature. 6. YouTube's audience retention usually dips at around 12-minute mark, and then again at 22 to 30-minute mark, so aim for that second sweet spot. So overall, all of these points have to come together in order to tell the full Warzone story, which I broke into 4 parts, and it goes something like this. First, the hype explores the lead up to Warzone, how it came out of nowhere and surprised everyone with how good of a battle royale it was.
Let's go! Let's go! No son of a shit!
Then comes the rise, which covers its launch and golden era. Despite bugs,
What?
the gameplay was fun and engaging. massive player base growth, high Twitch and YouTube viewership, and social media were flooded with Warzone clips, memes, and moments. What goes up must come down. Next is the fall, where cheaters, broken metas,
EMR.
and corporate greed began driving players away. Activision's aggressive monetization strategies added fuel to the fire with pay-to-win skins
I can't even see him!
and weapon blueprints, manipulating players with hidden skill-based matchmaking, stealing skins from creators,
We're sorry.
patches that broke the game more than it fixed it, poorly implemented integration with other Call of Duty titles compounded the issues. Finally, the aftermath that ties everything together, showing how all of these problems combined to sink Warzone, leaving it a shadow of its former self. Okay, so next came the research and writing, which took another 200 hours. I thought this would be the easy part, since I know the game inside out. Right? Wrong. Turns out knowing isn't enough. You've got to piece it all together, and it has to make sense to everyone watching, otherwise people tune out. But the worst part, you have no idea how any of this will look, because you're just staring at the screen writing this, hoping it all comes together in the edit 2 months from now. So you have to constantly have a tone in your head, either from earlier videos that I've made or Harold's videos in this case. So I started watching Harold's videos on repeat. I'd study his pacing, his tone, style, how he made it all look so easy. Every time I felt stuck, Harold was there to remind me, remember who you are. It says that this is the part where I'm supposed to say something relatable and set the tone. So here it goes. Every waking hour is either grinding on the video or thinking about grinding on the video. In the beginning, it is pretty exciting and everything feels possible. When somebody asks me, hey, what are you working on? I can't wait to tell them. But after a while, you start to notice the look on their faces. They just don't get it. And explaining it over and over again becomes exhausting. So eventually I stop mentioning it. When someone asks me, what are you up to? I just go, stuff. Because trying to explain it feels pointless. Nobody I know or have ever met does YouTube or make videos or anything like that. So after a while, I do start to feel a little bit alone. That's when isolation begins. Calls go unanswered and plans get pushed back. When someone calls me, you know what I do? I just pick up the phone and I just go, I wish they would just hang up. Because it feels like they're getting in the way somehow. And so the lonely grind begins. It's just me, this project, and the screen in front of me. And my imaginary girlfriend. Or boyfriend in this case. Okay, so all I'm thinking at this point is 1 more month max and I'll be done. I open up the project file to edit, which is where the real nightmare begins. You know when I said writing the first third is the hardest part? I lied. Editing it is even worse. You're just staring at an empty screen, wondering, how the hell do I make this good? Most people tune out in the first couple of minutes of the video, so you know it has to be good. You know what it says on the script? It says, a good intro. What the hell does that even mean? Who wrote this? I'm gonna strangle the guy who wrote this. So Harold over here says that every story needs a main character, a face people can get attached to. Who? Well, in this case, it was Bobby Kodak. Hell, in every case, it's probably Bobby Kotick. He's probably the reason you got fired from that job last year and your girlfriend left you. Kotick is the CEO of, or was the CEO of Activision, by the way. And the guy who's been bleeding the COD franchise dry for the last 15 years. So I wanted him in 3 of the most iconic COD scenes for the intro, but that ended up being over 3 minutes long, and I needed something around 30 seconds to 60 seconds max. So I picked the best one. Ghost goes to see a shrink because he keeps having nightmares. Price is the rapist, and Bobby Kotick is the reason behind those nightmares. But that's just the start though. You need a bit that sets the tone and style right from the get-go. There are 2 problems here, and both are a time issue. 1. You have to come up with a bit based on facts and make it funny. 2. Not just funny in your head, funny on screen. Which means you have to figure out how to create it. So my process for creating each bit goes something like this. So Christopher Nolan's Inception is about manipulating dreams and bending time. Time is a recurring theme in his movies, such as Interstellar with time dilation and Tenet with time reversal. Reversing time ties into the concept of entropy, a measure of disorder. Disorder is often associated with chaos, in which Greek mythology was the nothingness from which everything originated from. From chaos comes order, like the Fibonacci sequence, as seen in the spirals of galaxies, seashells, and sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are heliotropic, meaning they turn to follow the sun, much like how heliocentrism describes planets revolving around the sun. The sun is the center of our solar system, which Galileo figured out, risking his life for science. Science led to the development of camera, revolutionizing how we perceive time through film. Film allows us to capture moments, rewind them, and even rewind. I almost had it. I almost had it. Almost. Okay. Try again. Damn it. Okay. I almost had it. Almost. Okay, let's try again. Inhale. Okay. And so my process for creating each bit goes something like this. Film allows us to capture moments, freeze them, and even rewind them. And speaking of rewinding time, remember when Will Smith said, "Oh, that's hot, it's rewind time?" But that still doesn't close the loop. Now, let's rewind it to that time when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. In a metaphorical sense, that slap was like him saying goodbye to his career, sending it deep into the fabric of space and time. Yeah, everything leads back to that. Okay, so 2, how do you create it? First, collect all the assets. You can't find any green screens of Will Smith. You have to green screen Will Smith and slap Smith. There are 6 layers here. Warzone Observatory background. To make it more Warzone-y. Will Smith has no legs, so you gotta find some pants and Photoshop them onto him. Find some smoke, and then add it after you slap him. Next, I need to animate this. I also need to learn how to animate in After Effects, because I have no clue. So I watch a couple of YouTube tutorials and make it all movie with some keyframes. Not too fast and not too slow. And just like that, you have your slap. See, there's something missing here. The sound effects. So you have to find some sound effects on YouTube or any other platform. Or you can just slap someone in the street, depending on how real you want to make it sound. And just like that, you have your 10 seconds opening. Which took 5 hours to make. Worth it? Now repeat this process for every bit in a 1-hour video and watch as time flies. So I'm gonna have to explain to you the next 1500 hours in trenches as psychological warfare, and it went down in 4 stages. The first stage is demoralization. It took me roughly 1,000 hours to get demoralized. Every time I try to brainstorm something funny, I have to balance it with facts. I end up staring at the blank screen. The first few skits are okay, but by the 20th, that spark's gone. The second stage is destabilization. At this point, I'm rethinking every joke, wondering if it's even funny anymore. Nothing feels right, and every new idea starts to look like a terrible one. What if nobody watches this? Doubt creeps in, anxiety gnaws at ya, fear swells. Stage 3, crisis. All I hear is the ticking clock. Panic hit. Patches almost killed me. How do I make updates and bug fixes fun to watch? I re-edited it 5 times and it only got worse. I am fed up of having to work backwards every time. Facts, bits, funny. Facts, bits, funny. Facts, bits, funny. Final stage is normalization. I've hit the point where this endless grind feels normal. It's hard to tell if I'm making progress or just spinning in circles, second guessing every detail. I've clocked in 1500 hours at this point and I'm not even close to being done. Should I abandon ship, feed this to the YouTube demons, and hope the algorithm accepts my sacrifice? So I end up shutting down the whole project.
The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer.
So after stepping back for a week, while I was on top of a mountain, which is where I do most of my thinking, I came to the realization that I lost the sight of the bigger picture. I was finally doing what I wanted to be doing, but found no enjoyment while doing it. The excitement that got me started had vanished, replaced by a constant gnawing feeling of not being enough, not fast enough, not good enough, not creative enough. I got caught up in the small stuff, chasing perfection. This video wasn't about the perfect video. It was about the challenge, telling the full Warzone story. You know, something other than just a YouTube filler. So, one day I sat there looking at the project file in a complete haze. You know that feeling when you've dug yourself so deep that the only way out is to keep digging? That Simpsons meme popped into my head.
How are we gonna get out of here?
We'll dig our way out.
I said to myself, might as well go down with the ship. What's another 1,000 hours at this point? I might fail, but it won't be because of lack of effort. Lack of effort. It's lack of effort. Is it? But it won't be because of lack of effort. And back to my cage we go. From there, I started making some small tweaks, fixing something here and something there, focusing on finishing with a small win each day. Then I set some guardrails, no more than on 1 hour on any section or any bit. I won't animate anything unless it's funny or important. You know, if it looks bad, it's just a feature, not a bug. This is also where Harold resurfaced in this video, because I completely had forgotten about him. He showed me one of his videos. Hey kid, watch! You weren't supposed to see that.
Don't blow it. Keep it simple. Count your money.
You've seen too much. Then he pulled out a gun and shot me. Even though I remembered who I was, there's still a crap load of work left. It was February and I had to catch the May release window. After that, summer hits and YouTube turns into a ghost town. And by fall, the competition ramps up and the chance of my video getting buried becomes high. Also, I did not know if I would be doing this by then, because each day was a race against burnout. And just like that, the next set of problems appeared. Music. Finding the perfect track for each segment was like walking a minefield with YouTube copyright. It needed to fit just right, otherwise the whole section would feel off and ruin the whole thing. I couldn't quite get it right to begin with, maybe in a couple of minutes. The narration was a nightmare on its own. Let me tell you something about this voice. This voice is not meant for narrating anything. This voice has one purpose and one purpose only: scaring the hell out of criminals in dark alleyways in Gotham City. Where were the other views going? Meanwhile, I also realized I don't have an ending for this whole video. All that time spent on memes and clips, I had no idea how to wrap it all up. Apparently, editing isn't about clips and memes, it's about telling a story, and that takes skill, which I did not have. So, how do you bridge the gap between this voice and the tone I'm going for? Simple: practice. But you see, I can't really practice sitting here like this, because one day I was yelling at my microphone trying to work on this narration thing, and the next day my neighbor asked me if everything was okay between me and my wife because he heard screaming. I told him I don't have a wife. He said, okay, and then called the cops on me. After a little bit of inspiration from Harold, I got this idea. What if every shady move they pulled would come back to sink the Warzone ship? So I spent another 100 hours learning how to edit properly and add some CGI to bring it all together. Each character represents something that went wrong and come back to sink the Warzone ship. But it still felt a little bit empty because I couldn't find the right music. So after that whole neighbor incident, every time I needed to practice, I had to turn on the vacuum cleaner. You know, to disguise it, I'd be vacuuming the house going, vroom vroom, and so the hero braved the stormy night. Hey Pauline! I wonder what stalkers did before the internet. And that's when it clicked. I know what song to use. To bypass all the copyright issues, after watching a video Harold was on, I got this idea. I decided to go with game music, but even that took hours of searching to find something that matched each segment. Also, my neighbor is onto me, which means I have two problems to deal with: this narration thing and him. Okay, so how many hours have passed so far? Speed it up, you've been at it for too long. Okay, so every time I solve one problem, two more takes its place. Audio levels, corrupted file system crashes, Adobe, blah blah blah, not reading that. Steaks. I don't know why my shopping list is in here and now I'm getting hungry. At this point, there is no turning back. Months of grinding, second guessing, and sacrifice had cost me my routine, relationship, every ounce of balance in my life. Quitting now would mean admitting all of it. A sleepless night and isolation had been for nothing. Okay, we'll keep that one in. Yada yada yada, tick tock, go. No more second guessing. At every stage I told myself, what's one more hour? What's one more fix? And in the end, that mindset carried me all the way to the finish line. And done. Freedom! Months of doubt, frustration, anxiety, and setbacks. I could actually look at the project and feel proud. Felt like a huge burden lifted off my shoulders. And then I saw the runtime of the video. 1 hour and 5 minutes long. Panic hit, and fear shoots down my spine. There is no way in hell anyone is watching a 65-minute video on YouTube. I'm gonna become a joke. Not the funny kind. Thousands of hours in, the thought of failing felt unbearable. So I pulled out the scythe and started slashing in every direction, cutting it down to 50 minutes. It looked like a crime scene afterwards, and I have no idea if this will make sense to anyone, but at least I finished what I started. Harold once said, "No video is truly finished, you just run out of time." Then I thought about it, and yeah, I definitely just made that up. Either way, time to hit upload. I hit upload, and then stepped on one of those copyright landmines from earlier. 4 of them actually. Game music tracks got flagged by fake companies gaming the system. There's a special place in hell for those guys. So after yet another gut punch, I took it down, found new music, spent another 50 hours in re-edits. When I hit upload again, it was a rush of fear, joy, and pure anxiety. But I'd done it. 3,000 hours later, 7th of May, 2023, the video goes live. Now it's time to sit back and watch the views roll in. A day goes by, nothing. A week goes by, nothing. A month goes by, nothing. I check back on it, refreshing the page every 5 seconds, waiting for the magic to happen, like a kid on Christmas. But Santa never comes. The video bombs. It gets 1,000 views in the first month, and then flatlines after that. It was like watching my dream fall apart in real time. I get sad, confused, frustrated, and embarrassed all at the same time. And that's when it hit me. I'd spent 3,000 hours only to set myself up for disappointment. Since day one, I'd been so obsessed with making the perfect video that I lost sight of everything. I got trapped in a dream, chasing something impossible. And now I was paying the price for it.
Hold it! Hold it, sir!
It was not good business. So, what went wrong? Well, making a YouTube video is way harder than I thought, especially for a first-timer. In the beginning, I did think it was good, and I even blamed the algorithm, thinking, it's not me, it's the algorithm. But after a little bit of reflection, I came to the realization that it's just a mess, the whole video. I'm gonna point out 3 of the main points, and then I'm gonna put some of the other ones on screen, in case you're interested. So let's start with the elephant in the room. 1. I did not have any audience to push it to. I only had like 50 subscribers, which means nobody clicks or watches a video with 50 views from a no-name. 2. My thumbnail and title were just bad. You know, I thought I could make some kind of wordplay and do what Harold over here did. Nope. Thumbnail and title should be clear, concise, intriguing, and it should tell the viewer exactly what the video is about. The video is also 50 minutes long, which is a tough sell. By the time I understood this and adjusted the title and thumbnail, the momentum was gone. And 3. The editing is chaotic. The cuts are all over the place, and it's just a mess. The video is just annoying. The people who clicked did watch for about 8 to 9 minutes, I think. I can't believe that they stayed for that long. Overall, if I'd focused on making 1 video per week or per month, it would have been much better, both for my sanity, building an audience, honing my skills. The grueling, lonely journey was not necessary. A 50-minute video isn't just 10 times harder than a 10-minute video. It's 50 times harder because work and time put in does not equal results, especially if you're not skilled enough, which I was not. When you're so close to something, it is so easy to get caught up in it, and I lost sight of everything. It was just go, go, go all the time. In the end, the video sat at around 1,000 views, and it hurt right here in the meow meow. Did I make the best video I could? Yes. Did it perform well? No. Was it worth it? Not really. I did learn a lot though, from writing, editing, music, and sound design. I became an animator by accident and learned how to bring my stupid thoughts to life on screen. There were times I wanted to quit and call it a failure, but I didn't. I did all of these things that I was scared I wasn't going to be able to pull off, and I came out on the other side a changed man. And that's a win no matter the views. Right now I could make the same video 10 times better in 1/3 of the time. All because of that experience. So yeah, there were a couple of cliches I was gonna put here in the end. But then I realized, just a YouTube video. It's not that serious. But in case you're interested, here you go anyway. It's not about the journey, it's about the destination. What else you got? Well, the other one was trust the process. But let's go with my favorite. Even if the world doesn't notice, you grow. Bye!